All right, now, second movie we're going to review this week is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland's summary is incredibly simple. It's Alice in Wonderland. Okay, that's what happened in the movie. It's, of course, Tim Burton's version of it, so everybody has white faces, a lot of powder on it. Johnny Depp acts a little crazy, and so does Helena Bonham-Carter. Every single Tim Burton.
Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter are in a Tim Burton movie?
Yeah, I know.
Shocking.
It seems shocking.
Wow, that is weird.
Now, having
Well,
said...
now to be clear, you know, let's give the movie its due. It takes place something like 14 years after Alice's first trip to Wonderland. It's not a sequel to the original animated film, but it's her second trip back, and it's,
yes, that's the only slight twist.
And it's kind of changed into somewhat of a coming of age story, and it's definitely Tim Burton's gothic take on that world.
Right, so Alice is a little bit more grown up, so some of the characters are kind of sexually into her. So that's a slight twist, but not much. But you know, the bad guy's like, "Hey, how you doing, sweetheart?" So which you don't get in the original Alice in Wonderland. So there's that little bit of twist. Now, I came into this movie thinking that I was going to despise it. Okay, I don't like Tim Burton movies. Okay, I don't know. Maybe as a critic, I'm supposed to say, well, within the genre. Or I don't care. I don't like it. Every one of them looks the same to me, okay? And Johnny Depp acts exactly the same. He's a great actor, but not in Tim Burton movies. You can take like 8 different Tim Burton movies that Johnny Depp's in and just take Johnny Depp's character and put him in the other movies, and it'll work just fine because he acts like the crazy guy with the white face in, okay? All right, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But having said that...
Right, because Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood are the same guy because they're both named Ed.
No, but Edward Scissorhands, if you put him in Alice in Wonderland, you're like, kind of. Okay, instead of having a funny hat, he has funny fingers.
So Ed Wood a little different.
Yes, obviously. A little. Okay, you know, and then, all right, don't make me go through all the Tim Burton movies. All right, but having said that, you know what? It was Alice in Wonderland, and Alice in Wonderland is freaky and crazy, and if you're going to do a freaky and crazy movie, I guess you get Tim Burton to do it, right? And so, in the end, I was, funny enough, a little pleasantly surprised. I'm enjoying the Alice in Wonderland story, and okay, I got Jabberwocky, and I got Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and people are having fun, and at the end, I was like, okay, I didn't hate it. Look at that. For a Tim Burton movie, for me, that's a ringing endorsement.
You know, the movie, to me, is okay. It's not great. It's not what I hoped for. I will start out by saying I am tired of seeing Tim Burton adapt other works. I want to see him get back into doing original stuff.
I don't. I want to see him retire.
Things like his Ed Wood story, Beetlejuice, and Edward Scissorhands. Like his original stuff, to me, I want to see what's going on inside his head. I don't necessarily want to see a 2-hour movie that's his take on Alice in Wonderland. To me, you could wrap that up in 20 minutes. Show me the scenes. Show me your designs. Enough said. That's all I need to see. I mean, is this as bad as his Planet of the Apes? No. But, and the movie looks beautiful, and Bonham-Carter and Depp are great, but I felt like it was missing something. I didn't feel it was that engaging, you know, and kind of how I said with Brooklyn's Finest, you know, 6 months from now, it's like, oh yeah, Alice in Wonderland happened. There's nothing here to get passionate about.
Here's what I want to do. I want to issue a challenge to Tim Burton. Do a movie where people don't have white powder on their face. I dare you. I triple dare you. You can tell I don't like Tim Burton. Having said that, I'm going to go to a 5.0 on this movie because I was pleasantly surprised that, I wasn't insanely bored throughout the movie, and that, he delivered the story in kind of an interesting way, and I wasn't dreading the time, and I was like, okay, that was Alice in Wonderland. If you like Alice in Wonderland, not bad, not bad. I'll give it a 5.0.
See, I'm not much higher than you on that. I give it a 6, and partly because I think that Tim Burton and Alice in Wonderland, a Lewis Carroll story, should be a gimme. He should have knocked this out of the park. And I find it distracting. I mean, I find it, watching kind of the CGI was a bit distracting, and ultimately it's kind of a disappointment for me. So
yeah, the CGI,
it's still worth seeing. It's still definitely kind of worth seeing and going to. But in the end, it's one of his lesser films.
See, that's funny because I think the CGI was a little off too. That's a good point. But what's funny is that you were expecting more from Alice in Wonderland. I was expecting less from Alice in Wonderland. So that's why we have the scores that we do. But in the end, it winds up being nearly the same. The average is a 5.5, between the 5 and the 6. And so, if your kids are into it, you're into it, you want to see it, that's good enough score if you ask me, right? If you're not into Alice in Wonderland, then don't do it.